camera.
It's like just
Diane.
D&D, it's good.
Make it easy for you.
It's okay.
No, that's what everyone does.
They call her Diana. I feel like I always thought of Diana.
Oh, you really thought that?
Yes.
We got ourselves confused last.
Hey guys, welcome back to Just a Girl Talk. My name is Janine. For those who are new to my channel, I have some special guests. This is my first episode with two amazing young women. This is Deanna and Diane of Gifted and Glory. Deanna and I have been friends since college, and we've just kind of always stayed connected. And when I wanted to really focus on trying to get the idea and the fundamentals of women in business who are not only just business partners but friends. It's a struggle for me, myself, when I think about having business partners or collaborations with a with someone else. It just gives me so much anxiety because of just wanting to like hold on to it myself and not wanting it to not necessarily fail, but just having to put my trust in someone else. So they will share their experience and how they've been able to come together and over the years still remain good friends. They styled me for my very first maternity shoot. So like,
That's a
you know,
long
that's a
time
long
ago.
time ago, right? Like long time ago. So that's when they were like styling.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
And
been a long journey, but I'm gonna let them introduce themselves and then we'll get started.
So I'm Deanna, half of Gifted and Glory.
And I'm Diane,
The other half. So we have a gift concierge and personal shopping business. We basically help men shop for the women in their lives. So, you know, wife, mom, aunt, cousin. Men tend to need help in that area,
Yes.
so we do the personal shopping for them, but in the gift concierge, and then we also have personal shopping for women, so we help rebuild wardrobes and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Question: What would you say you guys are doing more? Shopping for men, shopping for women because of their men, or personal shopping now? Like, do you find more men are like really? Because my husband should probably like be on like speed dial because he does not like.
The gift concierge, I think, is the largest aspect because it's like men wanting to buy for their spouses, their moms. They're like, I want to, but what do I buy?
Right.
So that is probably the bulk of the business. But in shopping for, you know, their wives, their sisters, whomever, we kind of get that personal relationship, and that's where the personal shopping comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and it's nice for people that we've done personal shopping for because then we already kind of have an idea of their style.
Right. When
So then when husband calls, it's
Right.
like, oh, we know what she
Right.
can use, you know? So
Right.
it kind of works hand in hand.
Okay. So I guess we can start and take it back a little bit and talk about how you guys came together and started, you know, in business when you guys were just doing, you know, for styling clients.
It's been a journey.
Yeah,
We
it's
started
been a whole journey.
Yes. We weren't really like BFFs, friends. We knew each other through church.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in the same neighborhood, so I would ride with Diane to church
Okay.
all the time, every week, multiple times a week. So that's really where our relationship started.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking about things that we like. It wasn't from a business aspect at all. It was just what she enjoys doing, what I enjoy doing. We're both creatives.
Mm-hmm.
And we started with doing something for our church. So that's kind of how the partnership began. It wasn't about a business. It was about us assisting our church.
Mm-hmm.
And
We wanted to find a way to kind of give back and raise money for the nonprofit connected to our church. So something we both were interested
I
in.
can find
We
my
just
shirt. I
talked
still
it
have
together.
it.
the Dream
I
Collection.
have
That was
it.
so long
I should
ago.
wear that. It's like dingy though. It's like old. It's old.
That's what,
It's-
like 10 years old?
It's old.
Yes.
Yeah, it's old.
So yeah, that's where it started, doing the t-shirts. And I think from us creating the t-shirts, we really got to figure out what each person likes. and then it evolved into a business. So I think that's like one thing. Although we can only attest to what works for us, I don't think it will work for everybody, but I think it happened organically. It wasn't like, oh, I need a business partner.
Right, or I have this idea.
Or I have this idea, will you work with me on it? Because somebody might just say yes and then find out that's not what they really want to do.
Right.
So I think us just genuinely working together before business came into play helped to kind of set that foundation.
Yeah, I really think we were meant to be.
Seriously,
it's supposed to be, because we've changed and grown and found our niche over a decade. It's been we still like each other.
Yeah. I guess that's the beauty of still like I said, my fear of like, does the relationship start to go in separate ways of the friendship where we're just only business partners, and I don't want to deal with you any other way other than in business, because we both want the business to be successful, but the friendship starts to like deteriorate, and that also affects the business because what you once wanted to do together or ideas, people start to slack some, and it just kind of becomes that big thing. And I think that that's something that I hear all the time, or just seeing with a lot of people who are business owners and who have a team, of just how hard it is to like find a team and find things that work for them.
I think because we both kind of came to the table with the same, we didn't have experience in business. So I think that makes a difference as well. It's not like one person has all this experience and it's like you have to catch up. We were learning together.
Right.
And to what you said about not really sure if it will work, or if one person slacks off, how I think about it is the same thing as any relationship, like a marriage.
Yes.
You're going to have times where you don't want to talk, but you have to.
Right.
You're going to have times where you feel like one person isn't doing anything and you have to do it. I think it's the thing of always coming back to what is our goal. And I think we may look at partnerships in business or even friendships different when it's like, no, that's a relationship. You're working with another person.
Right.
And that person has different ideas than you, a different life, different opinions.
Right.
So I think with us, it was just always the goal of what's important. We gonna have to like hash this out and see like what, and get to the bottom of what we need to do. But I think our communication style plays a role in that. Like we have very different personalities. I feel like I'm more like in your face, loud. These laid back, chill. But she like has her opinion. She's like, no, I think we need to do this.
Right.
So I think balancing those things and learning your partner makes a big difference. Like when I be like, no, D, like what do you really think? When I feel like she has more thoughts.
Right.
So I think over time, the same way with a husband, a wife, you learn your partner.
Right.
So
being willing and open to have those hard conversations, and we've had to have hard conversations. And as emotional as it might get in the moment, we do know that there is, like you said, our end goal, and we really do come from a place of love for each other. So
and that's where the because like how you were saying about if somebody you don't know how they would be if you have to have like a tough conversation. So if that person's foundation is like, I want the best for you and I want the best for our business, then after those emotions are said and done, you're back at the
same goal.
But if that's not the beginning goal, then once you have that tough conversation, that person's like, oh, I'm out. Right. You didn't have the same goal at the beginning. Right. So I think that's important to figure out first before you even discuss business.
Right. Would you say, thinking about, you guys have transitioned, from the personal styling to now, helping men and just kind of finding still ways that the styling is still there. It just was a different aspect. Did you guys feel like making a transition to do something slightly different than the original goal could affect the business relationship, because it wasn't like we both wanted to do this and now we're doing something else? Could we still work together by doing something totally that we're not used to, like, helping men shop now?
That's a good question. I think it's the thing of the gradual change, because Gift Concierge, that came about because someone we were actually helping to shop for anyway. It wasn't part of business. Like he was like, I want to find something for my wife. We were just kind of helping on the side.
Got it.
Went to our church. Cool. So then he's like, one day, he's a businessman. He's around a lot of men that have busy lives. He's like, yo, you and D need to do this. He was like, I know men that need your help, and you're doing it anyway.
Right.
Like, so when that idea came to us, it was like, okay, let's talk about this. Like, let's evaluate our business. What do we really enjoy? Because that's kind of that check-in. Like, you know, sometimes you just going through the ebbs and flows because that's what you're supposed to do, and that's what you say your business is.
Right.
But we had to step back and say, okay, well, what is it that we really enjoy? What are we naturally good at? And step away from what will people say, or are we changing too much? And I think that was one of those hard conversations of, does this make sense?
Like, we're gonna basically start over again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think we both kind of brought our thoughts to the table, and in the end, it was like, okay, this makes sense. And I mean, people have their own ways, but I'm just big on like what I feel like God wants me to do and wants our business to be. So I feel like when you have that, it's like, does this feel right? And if it does, okay, even if you may not know how it's going to happen, and we both might not be on the same exact page, but if it feels like that's where we're supposed to be, then the in-between we can figure out. You know?
Wanting to start a business or have a business partner, and just the idea of it coming together, and what if it don't work? How do we start over? Or do we go our separate ways?
And it's to opinion. So that's the other thing of back to, I think, what is the most important, like your foundation, because you're going to have different opinions. Like you're going to want to start things and the other person may not want to. But I do think something we've learned is like the file cabinet idea of, okay, you have this business, you have what's important. Because you're a creative, you're going to always be thinking of businesses, ideas. That's normal. Like, that's what creatives do. But I think we've learned of, okay, this is an idea. Let's file it away for when it's right. And your Beyonce, those people, they didn't just think of a business and tomorrow it's out. That could have been a 10-year, ordeal of them working on it. So I think having those two brains, per se, we've gotten a habit of, okay, this is a good idea. Let's like table it. Write it down for when it's the smart time to pull it out. Because, I feel like God downloads stuff in us all the time. It doesn't necessarily mean that, I'm supposed to go create this tomorrow. So I think pacing ourselves while we have those ideas is like the important part. Because you might look up and have like 4 different businesses, 4 different pages, and it's like, okay, everything's not getting the same type of love and appreciation. And we've had those times of like, let's just focus on one thing, because it's like getting too crazy. And then it's been times that we've done multiple things. So I think just knowing what works for your business and what your audience, like your community of people want. And that's what you have to kind of pay attention to know when to pull it out.
I think with Gifted too, it felt really good to make that shift because, like you said earlier, we were it felt like we were trying and working and trying to make this thing work because we've been doing it for so long and it wasn't flowing. And so once we let go and went with the flow, it just made things started happening and we started getting excited again, I think.
And that's what you need sometimes. And our mentor at the time said something really that still sticks to me. Like, if every door is closing, then you're not supposed to be doing that right. So when it feels like you're just working, every door is getting shut, like it's no way for you to peek through or see like something that's going to happen, then it's probably some time to like reevaluate. But if it's a door that's still open for you to work on that thing, then do it. It's probably a reason why.
And I think even then when you think about like that door being slightly open is like, okay, it's still enough. If like I have like one customer buying something once a week, that's still like the door is still open. But I think we get so like social media just obviously made it just so much like harder for you to like you feel like, okay, this person is getting posting their like everyone's big on like posting their sales and I sold out in 10 seconds. Like, you know what I mean? So
that's like
that puts the pressure on you like, well, I only sold one shirt. You know what I mean? And
right.
So it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not doing it no more. Nobody wants to buy, or I didn't bought all this stuff and no one wants to buy. And I try to tell my husband that too because I have a freaking foyer full of stuff because he just has like this like, oh, no one boarded, and that's just like, oh well, like I'm moving on to something else. I'm like, that doesn't mean that you just move on from it. It's just like you just have to figure out how to target your audience. But it's still, if there's one person or just somebody buying it, that means it still has a chance to just you know, you just have to figure out how to like reevaluate or readjust the way that you're marketing it, or maybe your pricing or whatever it may be. But social media has just made it so much pressure for people who want to start businesses or get out there or put their idea out to the world, that you feel like, oh no, I can't do that. It's so hard to like, it just puts so much pressure to run a business and be on social media. It's like so much pressure for the time that we live in, and everything is like, it looks so easy, it looks like it happens so fast overnight, and for you guys to be in business as long as you have, it just shows like, okay, things take a long time. And I don't know, when you started, did you think like it would take this long to be like where we are? Like, you know, like, ooh, it's been like a long time, and it's still like,
when you start, you feel like you had this bomb idea. Everyone's going to love it as much as you do. Everyone's going to come flocking, and it's just going to take off. And then reality sets in, and it's like, oh no. And when you read stories of successful entrepreneurs, like, they put in 10 years plus before you even heard of them. So you learn real quick, like, no.
That you have a lot to learn.
Right.
We teach ourselves YouTube. We learned a lot.
When would you say that when you guys had that like epiphany, like, okay, hold on, it ain't gonna go as quickly as we thought, or like the idea is not just taking off?
I probably would say when we bought all those t-shirts, we got them made in another country, honey. They was Pima cotton. We spent some money, like,
I'm pretty sure we both spent all our savings
like,
to make this happen.
Because first we printed those shirts like locally, and people were buying them. Was all this support. We're like, great, so let's go buy a bunch. Like, this is great. Everybody's gonna buy them. And then it slowly was like, oh, it's different. When you gotta change your price, when you're doing things, like, oh no, the love not the same. Now that we got all these nice t-shirts. That was probably the first where we spent a lot of money on that, because it was, you know, bulk ordering from another country, great shirts. We loved it. Set up a photo shoot with Ricky. Still, he killing it. Ricky Cordio, we love Ricky. He had some amazing pictures. Amazing. And it was just like, oh,
we checked all the boxes, and then we're left with some shirts.
Right. And that's when it gets real. And I think that's the thing of like, when you read people like, don't quit your day job because you have like a good amount of sales. Like, you need to see that for like a year. You need to see the consistency before you like, oh, this is just going to be my full-time thing. It doesn't happen like that, because even big businesses have ebbs and flows of like, they have all this support and then it drops off. So I think you have to like really get in the thing of like not stopping when you don't see immediate results. Because then a lot of people will be out of business. That was the thing. So
and
I'm thankful for those failures too, because I mean, no one in business has ever done anything great without any failures along the way. But we learned so much. I'm thankful.
Yeah, and I think too, this is the one thing of business, like if I'm feeling like, yo, what is up? Like, I don't know about this, D can kind of step in like, well, we got to do this. We got to, you know, like having that person,
to like
one person. And I say to her all the time, people that work on their own, I'm like, yo, how do they do it? When I look at like the amount of work we have to do, I'm like, we're two people.
And I'm cheating. Like,
I'm like, why am I stressed? There's people that do this by themselves. But that goes back to me really feeling like God meant for us to be together. Like, she has a lot that I don't have. I have pieces that she doesn't have, and it really fits together like a puzzle. And I can honestly say I would not be able to do Gifted and Glory by myself. I wouldn't. Hands down. I would not be able to do it. So that's how I know it's meant to be a partnership. And I feel very confident about that, because I know business will be closed tomorrow if Diane said, I don't want to do this anymore. So when it gets to that, I think, you know, like, okay, you're in a real partnership, because I can't do this without you.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing of like you said, to have the other person to keep you motivated when you're having those times where it's like, I'm not really feeling it, and you're like, okay, well, you need to refill it. So
yeah,
right,
like get it together.
So that's the beauty of that. But like you said, having it when you're by yourself, and it's like, oh my gosh, like there's no one to other than me trying to like self motivate myself, and you just feel like, oh my god, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, and you just keep trying to self talk yourself through it, and then it takes a lot to like self motivate, especially when it's something that you don't know and you're new to trying to figure out how to do it and run the business, and your social media that's like in your head, and you're like, oh my god, I can't do this, you know. So to have that, and for you guys to like still, you know, have developed a friendship, and I think that is one of the things that I think like when you hear all these success stories, that most business owners and celebrities, that they say that they're business partners and people that they just linked up somehow, became like friends. And it's sometimes we have to separate just that whole idea of like, if you didn't go to school with me, or like grow up in my neighborhood, we not like we can't become
It'll
friends.
Be the oddest person,
you know?
that you think that may be your like person that you need,
right? Because you have like similar ideas, like you said, you guys had something that you both liked, and it was like perfect. Like, what's the risk of taking a chance,
right?
You know, of it, like us coming together and working together, and you know, making it work. Would you say though there has been times where you guys had, I guess, situations in the business side that has affected the friendship?
I don't think so. Do you?
I can't really.
I really think though, for me personally, I'm big on like friendship, communication. And that's another part of personalities that I feel like plays into that whole thing. Like, anytime I've had a problem with a friend, like, that's not ongoing. Like, we gonna talk about this and we gonna be friends again. Like, that's just what it is. So for us, I think if we had like issues with business, we never let it like seep into the friendship side. Like, we going out for drinks tonight? Oh, okay. Like,
and we just had a 10-minute argument about we're not buying the shirts. I'm mad, but I'm over it that fast. Yeah. But that takes maturity too. You know, especially for women, for us as women, and our emotions, for us to be mature enough to separate, okay, this is the business. We have to both understand, like, there's going to be times where we're not going to get along. And that's fine, but we can still be friends because we're friends.
And I think you have to naturally get along with women and like people. Like, if that's not who you are, don't try and get in a business or get in a business partnership with another female, because it is women that struggle with that. That's not my story. The whole thing of like, I don't have friends that's females. I don't know that story. Like, my closest friends have always been females. I love like women. I love that like dynamic. So that naturally works for me. Like, if that's your struggle, then I can't say that you might not walk away from the business deal, because you're just in friendship. Take business out of it. I don't think I've ever had a situation where I just didn't talk to my friend. Like, that's, if we had an issue, we're going to talk about it. And so I can't really speak to that, because I honestly haven't had that like with any of my friends. So we talk every day. Like I say all the time, if I don't talk to nobody else and I don't feel like talking or texting, which is often, I'm talking to Diane. Like, we have to talk about stuff. We have to do business. So when you're talking to someone every day, you get closer to that person. That's how our friendship really came through business.
It's funny, someone said to us one time, well, you guys are best friends. And we're like, we're business partners. Right. And they're like, no, but you're like, really, you're best friends though. I'm like, no. And it's not just business partners, it's business partner. Like, it holds...
That holds a lot of weight. Yeah. Like, when you look at like your marriage versus like a friendship you have with a girlfriend, you fight a little bit harder for that marriage. And when you look at a business, like that's deeper than, it's gonna be times you have to talk when you don't want to talk. So it is bigger than just like, we're friends. Like I say all the time, like, that's my partner. I don't think I ever even said that's my best friend. I've never said that. Like,
I don't even. Yeah, wait, I was going to figure that bad joke. No. Moving on.
So, that's deep. Like, it just, it's important. Like, it has to work. Like, when you don't want any other option, when certain things are off the table, just like people say, oh, divorce is off the table. Well, not running our business is off the table, so we're going to figure it out.
Yeah. So what would you say you guys see for your business in the next, for this year? Let's just go, not even long term. Like, what is this year Gifted and Glory working on, or what do you envision, like, with a client, or who would you like to style or work with? But what's the plan since we're fresh into 2020?
Real fresh. Oh my gosh. So goals we've been talking about, the social media thing. It's a big goal of ours to be more present and share like our personal thing, because I think we are really great at like pushing our business. Yeah. Always talking about what we're doing, but that's like a thing of like we need to build our community, like get them to see the behind the scenes of what we do. So that's
like take us on the shopping, take us on a shopping.
Yeah, because we find that like we'll be in our zone just like working, and then we look up and be like, we don't have no content. Right. We just did all this work and don't have nothing to show for
like
it.
Take us on the shopping tour, how you picked it, or stuff like that.
Yes, so that's like a big one. Also with our gift boxes, we want to start to use more small businesses, like when we do our like holiday gift box. Because that's what we are. So we're like that. We want to make that a priority. Like whatever products we use in our gifting, we want to start highlighting smaller businesses. Yeah. So that's another big one. I think. What else?
I think working on networking and just connecting with people, with other businesses, other women.
Yeah.
Is huge.
So that's something to speak to as well, because I think because we have each other, we suck at networking. Like, just to be frank, we really do.
We'll go somewhere and then talk to each other.
We'll talk to each other, and it's like, how are we here networking?
Right.
And we ain't talking to nobody else.
That's a good point, because it's like you have the comfort of like
each
other together. So like,
and if we go out, we'll go out for drinks, just talk. We won't go to events because it's like it's just me and her, right? Our business. And we realized, like through social media, talking with other people, other organizations, we're like, we need to go out and meet. People,
you might have to go and like pretend you're not together. Like literally, like
we went to one in DC
walking
and we
together,
had to
like
separate.
Okay, we're not together. So you go,
and it worked. Yeah, and she came back, and it kind of helped because she came back with people that she met. I came back. It's like, oh, this is what we need to do.
This is what it is about,
right? Versus like if you went, you would have no choice but to talk to people. Right. So that was, I think we were each other's crutch, I guess you could say in that. So we're making that a priority. Like, okay, we have each other, but we need to meet other people.
Yeah.
So that could be difficult with having a business partner, because it's like you always have somebody. I don't gotta talk to you.
Right.
Like,
we're great at networking with each other.
Yeah.
Great at it.
So yes, that's definitely another thing. Networking, but slowly just being okay with the flow of business and not trying, because before, and I'm a big goal person even personally, where you'll look up, have all these goals, and it's like, okay, well, what are the small steps to get to these end goals, because we just focus on the big picture. And I'm a big picture person. Like I'll see like the biggest thing, and it's like you ask me what to do in between, and I'm like, I don't know. Right. So we have gotten better at just making small practical goals to keep the flow of our business going, instead of like, oh, we want to sell 1,000 boxes this year. That's great, but those other things that's going to help us be consistent, keep clients coming back and back again. Yeah, that's like the more important part for us, instead of just focusing on like, oh, we're going to order all this stuff and have like boxes everywhere. Right. I pray it leads to that. But that's just not the goal now.
Okay, before we go, from both of you, what is one tip you would give to someone out there who is considering a business and working with a business partner? What's a tip that you would offer to them? A female.
A female? I don't even know if mine is female specific, but
okay, I have to think so. You go.
Okay, I do know one major thing is, and I can only speak to it because this is what I do. I just feel like prayer is important. Like, I think sometimes we want to do things and we want what we want, and then when we wind up in a situation, it's like, oh, how did I get here? God, get me out of this. Well, you didn't consult God before you got into this situation. So I do think if your desire is really to go into business with someone, it's not wrong to have that desire, but just don't lead from that place. Like, maybe ask God to show you, like, is it meant for me to have a business partner? And if it is, like, put me in those situations to meet the right person so it can happen organically. I think sometimes we lead with what we want, and what we want is not always what it's supposed to be. So for me, I'm like, look, pray about that thing and like let it organically happen. Even for the business, even if it's not like with a partner, like let what you're supposed to do organically happen. Don't lead with I want to make money.
Right.
I want a business partner, so let me do this. No, what is it that you're genuinely supposed to do? And if it's what you're supposed to do, like with you, I'd be like, yo, Nene out here killing it, helping these moms, these women. Like, that's what you're called to do, and that will lead to what the success is supposed to be. So, yeah, that's for me. I know that was a lot, but...
It's okay. She gave you more than enough time.
She did. She's a great partner. Really what just keeps coming to my mind is being honest with yourself and really breaking it down to the core of just seeking what you are supposed to be doing. I think our emotions as women get in the way a lot, but really checking those emotions and really spending time to seek and see what you're...
The emotions. That's the part. When you said specific to women, I think that's a big... Both of what we said, I think that's important because we lead by emotions.
Yes, emotions.
Like, it's we want what we want, we glamorize it, we're like emotionally invested, and then when it comes to business, like, sometimes those emotions...
you can't take them out.
No emotions in business.
Like, it's not... And that's something... I'm a very emotional person.
Yes,
very emotional person. Like... And running a business, you really have to be like, okay, certain things just can't matter right now. Like, even if after the fact you're going to go bawl your eyes out, do that. But in the moment, you have to be. And I think we, as women, we just can't lead from an emotional place. And that's something that took a long time for me to learn. Like,
you have to sometimes know the truth, even though you don't feel it. You just have to know, well, I'm going to come to this thing that I know, even though I don't feel it. And we're just going to move forward.
Right. So. And would you say, one more thing, since you mentioned emotions and as women, working with men, not more, but since you're working with men, would you feel, since that is another avenue of your business, I guess you wouldn't really get emotional with shopping for someone else's partner, but does that take away some of the emotion too, as you have more men as clients and like you're seeing a different masculine side of the business that kind of check your own emotions?
I think it helped us to think differently. Like when we do our survey, we always have to think from a man's perspective. Like how can we make this as simple as possible? Because most men, generally speaking, they don't want the fluff. It's like, I know I need a gift for my wife. Tell me what I need to get her.
Right.
And that's
she likes yellow, and
it'll be the most random, like, can you help us help you? Like that, you know? So with that, I think we had to step outside of ourselves and say, okay, how can we make these questions as easy, you know, simple as possible, where they won't spend a lot of time on it, so it gets us thinking, trying to put our minds
into their
how they operate. Because as women, we like fluff, we like it to be glamorized and cute, where they don't care about the package. Even when we were building our original website, remember we were like looking at pictures and we were thinking from our aspect. And then we let men look at our website and we put together all of the feedback. We're like, we thinking too much.
Way too much.
It came down to like we are really thinking way too much where it's not that deep. So that kind of keeps us focused and simplified. Once we create something, it's like, okay, how can we simplify what we created? Because we're tailoring this to a man. So that's like we always think when you first start, you think of all of those things. Like that was us. Even with like, you want to brand your business, do those type of things, but I feel like we put a lot of focus in that stuff when you realize it. To be frank, no one cares about your business in the beginning. Like because you care about it so much, you're like, oh, somebody comes across it, they're gonna be like, oh, let me no, they don't know who you are, they don't care. And it's multiple businesses out here. Like I read somewhere, when you go down a bread aisle, how many brands of bread you see? But nobody didn't say, oh, I'm not gonna make my bread because Strowman. Like, no. So I think in this age of social media, we have to be like, if you have something that you know is for you to do, no one's going to do it like you.
Yes.
So I think we can't lead from
that.
a fearful place of someone's going to steal my business, because if they go and make, it's other gift concierge businesses out there. It's people that do welcome gifts, all of that. But what can I bring to the table? What can Dee bring to the table? What can you bring to the table for motivation for women that somebody else doesn't have? Your story is different than the next person. So you got something to say that person doesn't. So I think we have to, and especially as women, because we look at that kind of stuff. We always look at the woman next to us. And it's just like, no, boo, you can shine. You can shine and I can shine too. And we both can have our thing. So I think just not getting caught up.
It's so easy to get caught up in
and looking at that, because your business is not going to be like them. Everybody is buying bundles. How many weed businesses you see out there?
So many.
And they all making money. So it's like, why I get caught up in that. So that's when you said that.
No, that's a good point. Like once you know, like you said, when you know this is what you're supposed to do, you just got to motivate yourself and get yourself going. But it's so good to like see that you guys are able to like make it work, and it's like it's possible. To like
very possible.
People just may not really ever see two people work together and they have such a good communication or good time working together because of all the horror stories that we hear that make people back away. So it's good to see that. So I will make sure that you guys are able to follow D&D, and if you are looking for some support with shopping for your wife, your sister, for yourself, you can definitely connect with them. I'm gonna definitely make my husband follow your guys' page without him knowing somehow. He probably won't even pay attention. It's just like
when I start following this page, who are they?
Because he just doesn't buy. Like he just doesn't like when I try to give him let him just buy me whatever. He just either buys something that's way too expensive. I'm like, why would you buy that?
A lot of men look at that.
That's that is so. I could have said like a bottle of perfume, and I would have been
happy.
Fine with that. But I did not know that your mind would go to the extreme of.
Like they mean well.
Right,
they
like
really
you do. But it's
do.
I could have saved you like $1,000 had you, if I would have knew that that's where your brain goes. Now it's just like I'm just gonna always know what I want, because I can't leave it up to you.
Buy this.
And it's like you want that, like, oh, you got me something without me having to tell you, but it's like no.
You gotta hit us up.
So make sure you guys follow follow me on Instagram at Just a Girl Talk, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. Like it. If you have any comments, or if you are a business partner out there, please comment and share some feedback, some tips as to what has worked for you and your business partner or business partners, because people have multiple partners. And that's a whole nother layer of having a bigger team. But if it works, that is the beauty of us being able to come together and not be afraid to let someone's ideas shine. Like I have my idea, you have yours, we all have our ideas, and we have to bring them together. And that's just like what any group work is, overall, which we at some point didn't really like to work in groups, but we had to realize throughout life, you got to work together.
Yes.
It may not be on the level of always we jump in and we're business partners, but like you guys said, you started out just doing little things together, and then it was like, okay, we can see us doing this together. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.